Okay, you guys, I'm going to do the intro in French. Are you ready? Here we go. Uncut. And if I make mistakes, I'll just keep going. Here we go. Bonjour à tous. Bienvenue à ma chaîne. Si vous ne me connaissez pas déjà, je m'appelle Jill et j'enseigne à ma fille ici à la maison. Alors, j'ai déjà créé 2 vidéos sur le sujet enseigner une langue étrangère à la maison. Et c'est à cause de ces 2 vidéos que je viens de découvrir qu'il y a plusieurs de femmes comme moi qui veulent faire la même chose. Mais elles ont des questions aussi. Et une de ces questions, c'est si je ne parle pas une langue étrangère, est-ce que c'est même possible de l'enseigner à mes enfants? Alors ça, c'est le sujet aujourd'hui. Je vais discuter comment on peut le faire. Et aussi, je veux vous donner un peu d'espoir pour que vous puissiez réussir vous-même. Alors, est-ce que vous êtes prête? Are you ready? C'est parti. Let's go. Okay, that was uncut. That's pretty good too, because usually I have to edit a lot. So here we are, another French video or another foreign language video. If I say French, I mean foreign language. We can talk about other specific languages if anybody's interested. But there we are. I think I'm not fluent, and I probably made a lot of mistakes. My accent isn't perfect, but I really think that the only way I've lived my life with this motto, the only way I fail is by not trying. And I really encourage you to do the same. And if you are a mom out there thinking about implementing or wishing you could implement a foreign language in your house into your homeschool, and you don't know how to do it, here are some tips. And yes, you can do it. So I'm going to give you the first one right off the bat. You're not going to like it, or you probably know it's coming, but you're not going to like it. So here it is. You're going to have to learn the language along with your kids. So yes, you can teach a foreign language in your home if you don't have the foreign language. But in order to do so, you must learn it along the way. And really, you need to step ahead, you need to be ahead of your kids by just one day. Honestly, that's how I'm going to be with math with my daughter pretty soon. I'm just going to be a day ahead of her. But you need to learn the language. You need to want to learn the language. And so if you want to implement a foreign language in your home, find out first what you think you'd be interested in, what you think you'd be good at. Find out also, ask your kids what they'd be interested in learning. Kind of nudge them towards perhaps what may be easiest for you to learn. Make it exciting so that they're excited to learn the language that you want to learn. And then go from there. But you're going to have to learn it. So start early, though. Start early. That's the next tip. If your child is in kindergarten, start now. If your child's in 6th grade, start now. The earlier, the better. And honestly, your kids are going to want to learn what you learn. I pick up the flute, I play it, Morgan wants to learn it. I am studying French, Morgan wants to learn it. So it probably isn't a coincidence that when I asked her what language she wanted to speak or she wanted to try learning first, it was French. I think that if I had been running around here speaking Chinese, and then I asked her, what language do you want to learn first? It would be Chinese. So if you're thinking about implementing a foreign language, maybe next school year, then start becoming interested in that language now. And maybe they could see you learning some of it. And honestly, if you do start learning it now, you will be way ahead if you begin teaching them in August, September, whenever school starts for you this year in the next grade. So start early. And by that, I mean start them early, and also you start learning the foreign language early. And then practice often. If you're going to start now ahead of your kids, practice every day, not just Monday through Friday, but practice every day. When they go to bed, spend 15 minutes doing it. If you're a morning person like I am, get up, spend 15 minutes doing it. You only need 15 minutes. What happens is it's the repetition, it's the practice, it's the showing up day in and day out, day by day. And people who work out, who lift weights, they'll tell you the same thing. Just showing up is half the battle. And then once you're there, 15 minutes, done, and you've moved on. But you build on that. So practice often. And then when you get to teach your children in school, in your homeschool, practice often would be Monday through Friday. I really wouldn't be, if you're a Monday through Thursday family, I would really consider adding that extra day on a Friday, adding that extra 15 minutes of French before you head out the door to go do something else. Or if you have a shorter or an easier Friday, we have a easier Friday. But that doesn't mean that we don't do French. We do different things with French, but I still implement it. So with that, plan your schedule. But in order to do that, you need to know your resources. So take this time to sit down and really find out what's around you in the area. We're disadvantaged in that way. We live on a farm somewhere between the middle of nowhere and where the heck are we? I don't have any resources here. So I may end up, I'm actually really considering having one-on-one tutoring, finding a tutor through Alliance Française and putting Morgan in front of a screen and speaking real time with a French teacher. I would probably do that next in the 5th grade. She's in the 4th grade now. So I'm really kind of getting her going. She's starting to speak. She knows her basic verbs. But I think as one of my resources that I can pull from, it would be to reach out to another state and to a company and get them to help me do that. So write down your resources, look around, Google it, see what's out there in your area and see what you can bring to the table. Write it all out and go from there. Then begin your plan. And then for your planning schedule, it's just like any other really, as long as you balance listening, speaking, reading, and writing every day. Your schedule will be, you can already, you're a mom, you know how to build a schedule. You build it for math, you build it for grammar. You'll be able to do that with a foreign language. And if you have any hiccups, write me in the comments and I am more than happy to talk to you about it. So I think with that, if you plan your learning schedule, you find your resources, you practice every day, and you start early, and you really do practice often, you're ahead of the game. You are one step further than everybody else. And don't be afraid to try. What's the worst that'll happen? I don't think you'll fail. Now, if I could impress upon you one pitfall, though, and that is I see sometimes people wanting to learn or teach their children catchy phrases from phrase books, kind of like, the books that you would use before you go on vacation, where you learn how to say, I need a hotel room, or how do I get to the Taj Mahal or the Parthenon? And those are phrases that won't help the child learn the language because you're not taking apart the phrase as studying it as a sentence. And so if you were to say whatever, just pick a phrase. And when they hear it, it's a foreign language. They can't differentiate one word from another. It just all sounds like sound to them. And so if you teach them that phrase, they'll know what the phrase is, but they won't be able to pick it apart. They won't be able to find the verb. They won't see the pronoun. They won't see the vocabulary. So if you want to teach them catchy phrases, I taught Morgan the first thing she could say was je t'aime. She didn't know how to take it apart. But I knew that when I started teaching her formally, the first thing we were going to do was talk about je t'aime, I love you. So she already had it. And then when I showed her what it looked like on paper and what je t'aime was, she was blown away. She said, wow, that's what that is? Yep, that's what that is. And so suddenly it became a thing. And then she could take it apart. She could then say, j'aime la pizza. Or is it le pizza? I think it's la pizza. I love pizza. J'aime les frites. I love French fries. So if you're going to use catchy phrases, make sure that you'll be able to pull them apart to separate all of the words out and then teach them so that the child can move them around and build them in their own sentences and take that vocabulary, those words on as their own in their own core. Speaking of core, It's really important to treat a foreign language in your household not as an elective. This needs to be a core. And I think if you want to have it as an elective, it will be more like, I don't know, just learning a little bit of the language so that you have an understanding, and probably you're going to build on culture as well and maybe the history of the location. But that is not going to take them into a foreign country where they're in an airport and they're having visa problems getting into or out of a country, and they can't talk their way out of it. So that is why if you treat it as a core, something that they're going to have for their whole lives, and once they leave your house, they at least have all of the kernels that they need to then begin to build even upon it from there so that they will become even more fluent. I think that is my goal, and that is what I would hope your goal would be. So, homeschool moms, thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful in some way. I love foreign languages. I just think they're crazy fun. And when they're hard, they're not hard for very long. Once it's deciphered, it's just like an aha moment. And I have never known a language to break people apart, only to bring them together. And that's what I think and how I go into learning it. So I hope you enjoy it as much as me. I hope you've gotten something out of this video. And if you haven't subscribed, please feel free to do so. And I'll see you later. À bientôt!